Welcome to the kitchen. In this video we're going to be cooking pork souvlaki. Alongside that we'll have a 3-ingredient souvlaki. We've got some pickled red onions and some sliced tomatoes as well, all served with flatbread. It's delicious, it's fantastic, it's super easy to make. So let's get into the kitchen and let's get cooking. For the pork souvlaki we've got about 700 grams of pork shoulder, which has been cut into a 2 cm dice. And then here we've got the zest of a lemon, which has been grated. We've got a ½ teaspoon of cracked black pepper, a heaped teaspoon each of smoked paprika, cumin and oregano. And then on the far side here, this is just 2 garlic cloves which have been microplaned, where you could chop them finely with a knife and scrape them with the side of a knife to create that paste. And we're going to use the juice of the lemon as well and some olive oil. So all we need to do, it's really easy, we're just going to put all of the herbs and spices in with the pork. Make sure we get all of those in there. And then we can take our lemon, just cut the lemon in half, give that a squeeze through our fingers so that we catch any of those pips from the lemon. And again with the other half. And then with the olive oil, we'll take probably about 2 or 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Just enough so that everything can coat the pork and it all gets some of that flavour. So you can either use a spoon to mix this, or you can get in with your hands and just make sure that every single bit of pork has got some of that delicious flavour in contact with it, so that it can take on the flavour and every bite will be full of that smokiness from the paprika, the herby oregano, and it will all be absolutely delicious. So give that all a good mix, and once that's done, that can sit in the fridge, cover it with cling wrap, put it in the fridge for at least half an hour if possible, or you can leave it overnight before you cook it. The longer you leave it, the more it gives the meat a chance to take on those flavours and become super delicious. Now the pork's had time to marinate for a bit, we can get it onto some skewers and get cooking. I've put the pan that I'm going to be using on the hob already to get it started to heat up. We want that to be really hot so that we can get a good char and get some flavour in there. So we've got our pork that we prepared earlier, and I've got some bamboo skewers which have been soaking in water in the hope that they'll maybe not burn as much when we put them onto the grill plate. So all we need to do with this is to take a skewer and then to skewer five or six kind of chunks of meat carefully onto each stick. And if you're worried about handling the meat, then for sure, if you've got some gloves, you can wear some food gloves to help with that. And as you're doing this, you just need to be careful not to stick your thumb or finger with the sharp end of the skewer. So once you've got 5 or 6 pieces on, just give it a bit of a squeeze around just to get it so that it's in that kind of kebabby, souvlaki kind of shape, and that can go on our plate while it waits for the rest of them before we start cooking. So there we've got our kebabs all ready to go onto the grill. At this stage here, if you've made too many for what you're going to be eating right now, it's really good time to freeze these. So you can put them into food safe bags. So if you take, say, like a portion of 4 of them, get them into a food safe bag and pop them into the freezer. And then when you come to cook them, just make sure that you take them out of the freezer a couple of hours beforehand to give them that chance to completely defrost before you cook them. Our pan's been on a really high heat now for a good 10 minutes to really get it so it's super hot. You can feel the heat radiating off it. These would be fantastic to do on the barbecue as well, so if you're outside this summer with the barbecue, then get some pork souvlakis on there. It's a great way to cook them. But with a pan like this, all we need to do is take our souvlaki sticks and we'll place them into the pan, and because it's super hot, we'll get that instant sizzle, we get that flavour starting to form, it'll start to get that char on it, and it'll be super tasty. So these will take probably around about 3 or 4 minutes on each side to make sure that they're cooked through. These we can just come in with a pair of tongs, just give them a turn. You can see straight away that charring started to happen. The flavour's starting to add on to the flavour that's already there. These are going to be good. So plating this up for lunch, we've got a flatbread which we've just lightly toasted. This is just one from a supermarket. And we've got our beautiful tzatziki that we made earlier. We'll just take a spoon of that and we'll just spread some of that into the centre of the flatbread. And then we'll get our kebabs. Plate up with just 2 for this dish. Place those onto the flatbread. Don't forget we've got our sliced tomato, which is marinated in just that vinegar and some olive oil. So we'll take some of those slices of tomato, get those in and around the kebabs. Just one more bit, just on the end here. Get that under that bit of kebab there. And as well, we've got our pickled red sumac onions. Just give those a little bit of a stir. And again, with our fingers, clean fingers, just take some of those, just sprinkle those over the top. And then maybe just a little extra drizzle of tzatziki, just some little dots over the top of it, so we can see some of everything that we've got going on. That's our beautiful pork souvlaki with our 3 ingredient tzatziki, some sliced tomatoes and pickled red sumac onions.